you how many minutes, but you want to allow time for Q&A, which is in the total of 10 minutes. Everyone good? Okay. Ready? Go.
Okay, so I'm Avery.
I'm Shane.
I'm Brent. I'm Tanner.
And I'm Aja.
And we are Team 75, Memorable Platypus, presenting you Engage. So Engage is a polling platform that is aiming to improve the performance and engagement of both teachers and students by providing valuable feedback and constant opportunities to practice problems. What we're looking to do is give students a way to practice problems throughout the semester instead of just having their grade tied to big events like tests, quizzes, and papers. They can gauge where they're at in the course, while also providing professors an opportunity to know where the students most need improvement and focus their lecture time accordingly. But before we go into that, let's address the problem we're trying to fix.
Okay, $75. So that is the average cost that all of you guys are paying to attend each lecture that you go to. And so think back on a lecture that you have attended and think if you thought that you got your money's worth. If you had $75 in cash, would you think that you're getting your money's worth, leaving the class with more knowledge than you came out of? So we as college students found that we were not getting $75 worth for each lecture, so this is the problem that we are trying to solve.
So what's the problem? Students often are leaving class with a lack of understanding for the material. They're usually uncomfortable asking questions in the first place. They're receiving little to no feedback. Aside from large milestones such as tests, quizzes, or even papers, causing professors not being really able to accurately gauge students' understanding of the material, which can lead to frustration on both the students' end and the professors' end, not being able to accurately gauge where the student stands, kind of leading to a cycle of frustration where really no one wins.
Alright, so we are asking for $100,000 to develop our app and to market it and deliver it to our first few customers. And so here's our overview of our pitch. First, we're going to start with highlighting our problem through some specific data that we have found from polling students. Next, we are going to go over some of our competitors in the business so that when we go over our solution next, we can show how we are different and what advantages we have over our competitors. Next, we'll go over the market for this product, Engage. Next, we will go over our team, what we bring to the table, and what you can bring to the table with your investor. Next, we will go over our financials, including the licensing fees involved with the app. And finally, we will go over our product timeline, including a 3-year timeline for your investment.
Okay, so like Shane mentioned, we did a poll of students of all ages who are undergrads, and as you can, well, it's kind of blurry, but I'll just tell you. So on the left, we were trying to figure out if people are feeling like they're getting enough personalized feedback, and about 83% said that they don't feel like they're getting enough personalized feedback. And so this is a problem because it will lead to a lack of understanding and an unsure way of how to improve in the class. And then on the right is data that we got that showed that about 90% of the people that we polled said that they do not feel comfortable enough raising their hand and stopping the lecture to ask a question. And so this is a problem because without that level of comfortability, those questions or concerns are oftentimes not being addressed. And so the students have to go and try to figure it out on their own time, leading to more confusion along the way.
So when you think about polling platforms, I'm sure a lot of you have had experience with such platforms as Poll Everywhere or Kahoot, but these don't really solve all the problems. With Kahoot, you get valuable practice and you get to see where you rank against the class, how quickly you can answer questions, but you can't review those questions and you don't have an account that you can log into, see what you missed, and see where you went wrong. With Poll Everywhere, you do have an account and you can review your questions, but it doesn't tell you anything other than did you get it right or did you get it wrong? Did you get a green check mark or did you get a red X? So we're trying to solve all those problems and make a better version of both of these two platforms.
Hi. So here's our solution. And when you log into the app, you would log into which university you're at, and it would connect to Sakai so you can see which courses you are in. You would select which course. And it would know if you're in class or if you're out of class. If you're in class, it would show this button, which has A, B, C, or D, which allows you to answer the different questions that go up on the board. There's one mode where it's just a normal mode, like where there's no time limit, you're just answering the questions. And then there's competition mode where you try and answer the questions as fast as you can. And it'll show you your ranking in the class in terms of speed and accuracy. And then at the bottom, there's also a questions button that you can hit if you ever have a question during class to take you to the concerns tab.
So the concerns tab, the idea is to take away from students feel intimidated to answer or to ask questions in class. So professors would preload topics in before class that students could click on if they were struggling with, and that would send that to the professor's laptop so the professor could check what he should spend more time on to use class time more efficiently. There's also custom concerns where you could type in a question that you may have, and then you can like other students' concerns.
And then next, these last two slides are an example of what you would see once you leave class. And so the progress slide shows you how you're doing for the day and cumulatively. And so this is addressing the pain point of people not knowing where they stand in large lecture halls until the very end of class. And by that point, it's usually too late, or it's too much pressure put on the final exam. So this, theoretically, you could look at it. It would update every single day after class, and you can gauge where you are and what your understanding is.
And this last page that a student would see outside of class is the suggestions page, and it provides students with further resources to help understand the material even more if they missed a certain topic. So for example, a directory would be provided of what the steps are to, for example, providing or conducting proper empathy interviews.
So who all does this really apply to? Initially, we targeted our demographic towards undergraduate college students in the United States, of which there are about 16.8 million across 5,300 universities. But hopefully we can apply this to beyond just undergrad and even to higher ed, professional and grad school, and maybe even some large high schools as well. And the ed tech space has been growing pretty substantially over the past couple of years. As you can see, since 2014, it's been growing at a compounded annual growth rate of almost 9% each year, and is expected to reach 43 to 45 billion by the end of this year. And even on a global scale, it's expected to reach 130 billion by 2025. So as you can see, this is a growing space, and there's a lot of room to go and capture the size of that market.
So, who are we? We're students experiencing this firsthand. And so we've done our research, we've come up with the idea. Now, the only piece that we're missing is you. And so we are asking for $100,000 stake in our company for a seat on our board as well. We've used $40,000 of those dollars to help develop and publish our app. The other $60,000 would go towards marketing towards schools. So in addition to receiving a seat on our board, you receive an equal voice, and your expertise would be greatly appreciated.
So we will sell our app through licensing fees, and that'll have an initial $2,000 cost, which will cover the first 5,000 students the university has. And then any students past that, in terms of undergraduates, it'll be an additional 25 cents per student. So for a school like UNC Chapel Hill with around 19,000 undergrads, they would pay around $5,500 annually. Our primary cost will be our sales team, their salaries, tech support, and server costs. And then for our timeline, in our first year, we want to reach at least 10 universities with at least 10,000 students. In our second year, we want to sell to 20 additional universities, giving us a total of 30 universities with licensing deals, and also form a partnership with Sakai that will allow our results from our polls to automatically be uploaded into the system, into the gradebook, making professors' lives easier. And then in our third year, we want to reach a new 30 universities, giving us a total of 60, and form partnerships with Blackboard and Canvas so that our app will upload to those major learning systems too.
There you guys, time is up. Let's wrap it up. Literally, you got one question only. You should have had questions built in, so one question.
I have one. So this is a lot of work for professors. How do you guys plan to get them involved in doing all the work on their side?
We're hoping to integrate it with Sakai so that when students put in questions, it'll all be compiled for the professors to see, and it will already be referencing back to like materials that is in the syllabus. So like, let's say you're studying a certain chapter, all the questions that pertain to that lecture will reference you back to parts in the chapter itself. The professor isn't going to have to go in and manually tell you where to look.
One more quick question.